Hello everyone, and today we come to the last lesson of Unit 2. We are going to talk about stone soup. It's really strange title. This is lesson 5. As we talked before, that we've talked about common illnesses and their symptoms. We read articles about malaria, about healthy eating, and last time we talked about a blog entry. Today we are going to read and understand a world folktale story. Kindly prepare your books in pages 28 to 31 and 24 to 27. What are we going to study today?
Lesson objectives. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to listen to a story, speak about helping each other, read a story, read and answer questions, critical thinking, giving opinions, values, helping each other, language focus of vocabulary, onions, chunk, cabbage, sack, potatoes, smooth, mushrooms, herbs, salt and pepper, beans, carrots, materials, dictionaries.
So the main thing today, we are going to have a story. Do you like soup? What kind of soup do you like? What do you put in this soup? Think about it. Go to the video and try to speak about that. You can seek the help of your mom or sister or friend. What do you put in the soup? This is going to help us. And let me help you with a picture. Look at these ingredients. And by the way, which one is which one you can't put in soup? The meat? No, we can put it in the soup. Onion? It's okay. Carrots? It's okay. So, which one? Look at them. Take your time. Yes. We can't put a rock and soup. Today we have a story that says the opposite. But before we read this story in book, and I like that, I told you before how important to look at the pictures first. I want you to look at the pictures and try to guess this story. I cut all the pictures in the story and I put them here together. Let's try to use our mind first. What this man is doing, he has got a boat and he's stirring. Oh, he's asking for something or what? Maybe. What this man is giving him? Is that the same boat or something? Let's see. Oh, what are they adding to the pot? They seem to be cooking here. And someone is giving him something or so. We're gonna know. Oh, they are eating. All of them are eating together. What do you think? What do you think is the story here? Can you imagine it? Stop the video and try to guess. What is this? Try to imagine a story. Yes, this is going to help you. I like you to imagine, to guess and try to think. Try to make your own story first. Prediction. Now, what is that? Read and listen to the story. Then check your answers to activity 1. Take your time, pause the video and start reading. And after that, I'm going to play the audio. You are going to catch your pencil or pen and go word by word with me to teach you how to read.
Track 11. Stone soup.
Once there was a young man travelling around the country selling goods. Times were very hard, and every day he sold less and less until he didn't have any money at all. On the same day that he ran out of money and food, he came across a small village. He thought that in the village he would find someone who would give him a bit of food. He knocked at the door of a pretty-looking house. A woman opened the door slightly. The young man asked the woman if she had a little food to spare for a weary young traveller, but sadly the woman answered that she had no food at all. Curiously, the same thing happened at all the houses in the village. There was not even a crumb of bread left in the entire village. The young man was not discouraged. Instead, he came up with a plan. The young man found a wealthy-looking house in the centre of the village. An elderly man answered the door. The young man asked him if he had a large pot of water that he could spare. The old man asked him what he wanted it for. The young man explained that he was so sad about the lack of food in the village that he was going to make a big pot of soup for all the villagers from a special stone he had found on his travels. The old man gave the young man a large pot of water and a stirring spoon and helped him build a big fire next to his house. The young man took a smooth stone out of his bag and put it in the pot of water. As he stirred the water, the young man mentioned to the old man that the magic soup was always better with a little onion and a head of cabbage to add extra flavour. So the old man went into his house and returned with a bag of onions and a head of cabbage. A neighbour who was putting out her washing smelled the onions and the cabbage cooking. She went to the old man's house where she was told about the special soup made of stone. The young man who was stirring the soup mentioned that the magic soup was always very good, but that a little bit of meat, perhaps a carrot and some potatoes, would add some extra flavour. So the woman went into her house and returned with a chunk of meat, a bunch of carrots, and a sack of potatoes. A little girl who was playing in the street smelled the soup and became curious about the smell. She went to the old man's house. The young man stirred the soup and mentioned to the girl that the magic soup was always very good, but it would be even better with a few beans and a pinch of salt and pepper. So the girl ran into her house and returned with a bowl of beans and some salt and pepper and added them to the pot of soup. The woman from the first house where the young man had asked for food was in her garden collecting some herbs and mushrooms. She smelt the soup and became curious about the smell. So she walked down the lane to the old man's house. The young man stirred the soup some more and mentioned that the magic soup was always very good, but that a few mushrooms and some herbs from her basket would add even more flavour. The woman gladly added her ingredients to the soup. In a while, the soup was cooked and everyone had a bowl of delicious stone soup. No one could believe that such a flavoursome soup could be made from just a stone. The young man served another bowl of soup and smiled to himself.
And smiled to himself. Okay, so here we have some vocabulary. Goods. Goods are the things that are transported, weary, tired, discouraged, having lost your confidence. Spare. Something available because it's extra and not being used. Lane. A narrow road in a town or village. Flavoursome. Food that tastes good. Now we have some questions. Try to answer these questions. We are going to answer them together, but you still take your time, pause the video, read the questions, and try to get back to the story and try to answer them. Why did the young man decide to make this stone soup? Why do you think this happened? Yes, because he was so sad about the lack of food in the village. Or perhaps because he was hungry himself and was tricking the villagers into feeding him. What did the old man give him? Do you remember? He gave him a large pot of water and a stirring spoon. What ingredients did the people in the village give him for this stone soup? Yes, they gave him a head of cabbage, a bag of onions, a chunk of meat, a bunch of carrots, a sack of potatoes, and a pinch of salt and pepper and bowl of beans. Let's go on the question number 4. How did he persuade the people in the village to give him the ingredients for his soup? Yes, he told them the soup would be better with more ingredients. For number 5 and 6, they are going to be answered by you because this expresses your opinion. Why do you think the people in the village wouldn't give him any food when he arrived? Here you can express your opinion. I'm not going to give you any model answers for number 5 and number 6. This is your opinion. Still you give your opinion here. What do you think? What do you think the young man smiled to himself? Why did he smile to himself at the end of the story? Yeah, why he smiled to himself? Yes. What value did the young man teach the people in the village that day? I think to help each other. Now, if you need more practice for this, to arrange and put in order the sentences of the story, this is a summary, or you need to summarize this story using 1, 2, 3. You are going to put them in order. This is going to be for your homework. Now, circle the correct words. Number 1, the villagers had or didn't have food. The stone water wasn't magic. I hope that you are going to answer them. And by the way, you are going to have some answers by the end of the video. So now we go to the word study, classifying expressions. We use these classifying expressions or containers when we talk about collections of items. For example, a crumb of bread, a bowl of water. Here I brought you some of the most common containers and classifying words. A bottle of milk, a glass, a jug, a cup, a bucket, a jar, a loaf, a slice, a curtain, a car, a can, a bottle, a bowl, kilo, bar, piece. So these are the most common ones. We still have some more. Some of the containers you can use mug, cups, glass, jug, jars, and so on. So these are some of the containers we have. Some more? Yes. You have loaf, slice, bar, piece, tube, tub, and back, and pan. So these are all considered containers that would help us to deal with uncountable nouns. Find the classifiers for these items from the story. They are in blue: cabbage, potatoes, salt and pepper. See here, salt and pepper, not salt and pepper. You don't say the full and. Meat, we are going to talk about this. Meat, beans, carrots, onions. So what did he say about cabbage? Yes, he said a head of cabbage. Potatoes? Yes, a sack of potatoes. Salt? Yes, pinch of salt or pepper. And a chunk of meat. Bowl of beans. Bunch of carrots. Bag of onions. Now you are going to go to your activity book and you are going to answer these for homework. We come to pronunciation, connected speech. We use connected speech to join words together as we speak. This means we often omit sounds or pronounce words differently in order to speak quickly. Do you remember Tom and Jerry? Tom and Jerry, it's very famous. It's Tom and Jerry, but how can we say it? We write it Tom and Jerry, but how do we say it? Tom and Jerry. Tea and cake. We don't say tea and cake, we say tea and cake. Tea and cake. Tom and Jerry. So sometimes you need to delete or omit or write some of the sounds while you are speaking. A kind of. You say a kind of. Let me. So sometimes you need to omit some sounds to pronounce it more quickly and seem natural. Listen and repeat the phrase from the story with connected speech.
Track 12.
A sack of potatoes, a pot of water, a bunch of carrots, a pinch of salt and pepper, a bowl of beans.
What happens to off? Yes, it's pronounced differently. By the way, we have two of them. The one with double F, it's off. All right? And this is an adverb. And this is of. With one F, it's of. With two F, it's off. So, and this is a preposition, but the other one is an adverb. Now, listen and repeat the mini dialogues. Which words are not pronounced clearly?
Track 58. 1.
What fruit did you buy?
I bought a bunch of grapes and a bag of oranges. 2.
What would you like for lunch?
A bowl of soup, please, and some bread and butter. 3.
Should I add some salt and pepper to the soup?
Yes, please, but...
All right, values. We come to values, helping each other. This is for you, and no one can answer it but you. How do you help in your home? Your mom is going to be happy with this exercise. Yeah, you have to reflect on yourself and your family. How do you help in your home or in your community, the place where you live? Look at the pictures and discuss how these children are helping in their home or community. Do you make your bed every morning? Do you help elderly people, blind people? Do you help other people? Do you put are you tidy? You put the trash here. And do you help with the home stuff? All right, make a resolution. A resolution, what does it mean? For example, you say, I'm going to start a diet. I'm going to go to the gym on Monday. I'm going to study more next time. So a resolution means you decide to do something. For example, okay, I'm going to help my mom. All right? Values. So this one is for you. Circle the correct option for you. You say, I always, sometimes, never make my bed in the morning. I can't answer this. You have to do it yourself because it's used. If you always make your bed in the morning, you say always. Sometimes, never. All right? Challenge. In your notebook, write more examples of how you help others at home. This is writing. At school, on your community, you can pick any or all of them. If you need extra material or watch a video about containers and the quantities, vocabulary words with pictures, you can scan this with your mobile as I told you before, and you are there. And as I promised you, you have the answers for all the questions or the exercises we had, 1, 2, 3, and number 4. Thank you very much. I was very happy to be with you. Thank you.